everybody, Terrence Pop here with another episode from the Lair. And I'm just finishing up some of those 9th ID stories. I just can't close out the 9th ID chapter without talking about some of the fucking absolutely monumental stupid shit that went on there on a semi-annual basis while I was there. They used to have this thing called the Division Run, alright? I don't know whose brainchild this fucking is, but apparently it was like twice a year. They would try to do it twice a year, but it worked out more like once every 8 months or so. They would have like a division run where everyone in the entire 9th Infantry Division would run this like 3-mile fucking course. And it wasn't like your standard PT session where you start at roughly, 6 o'clock-ish and get done 7:30. No. We would show up, stretch out at like 8 o'clock, have to march to where the starting point was going to be, and then wait in line, stretch out again, and then run at a snail's pace, which basically meant you walked most of it and then ran, very little. And this went on pretty much all fucking day. I think the division run would let up sometime, it would start around 8 and not be done until roughly noonish, and then you have all the cleanup, and then there's always got to be people that you get taken to the fucking hospital because they can't fucking run. You can't even walk 3 miles. I don't know. It's shameful, but it's true. And this is like back in the 80s where, we were not, as politically correct as they like to be now and kind of pussified. Back in the day, we would run in these fucking, formations with some of the fucking vicious, brutal, profane cadences that you could possibly sing. And no one told us to stop. No one, not even the Sergeant Major. He'd run up there, he'd smoking, doing his deal, doing the whole fucking thing. So, when you show up to a PT event called the Division Run, and your squad leader has a thermos of coffee slung around his fucking shoulder, and the morning fucking paper that he's gonna read while running this fucking PT event, it's not going anywhere fucking good. It's just not going anywhere good. And I remember we'd go by what was it, Division Pack, and we used to call them tube titties. So we'd run by these Division Pack, and there's mostly, females in there, clerk typists and what have you. And, they could say they're within regs, but, come on. Yeah. I might have been young and stupid, but I wasn't that young and stupid. So, and I remember we'd be running up on them like, come on, tube titties. And, if we said it loud enough, you'd hear the platoon start like, hey, knock that shit off. And then we would stop for like 4 or 5 minutes and then just do it again. And, it is what it is. I mean, what do you want? You got a bunch of dudes in one area. They're trained to fucking wage war, and they talk, well, not waging war, they talk trash, and that's just the way it is. And they would always try to, do this whole division run thing with payday activities. So, I mean, if you're going to fuck, the whole day, you might as well, fuck the whole day just right. Burn up the first half of the day doing nothing. And the second day, half the day, taking your cash and, go and spend it on strippers or what have you. And, and not that I did a lot of that, because I didn't. But, back in the day, they didn't really pay you too much. So you really couldn't afford to do stuff like that unless you're like really stupid, which there was a few, but those are different stories. Let's see, what's another one? God damn it, this sucks, but this happens. I'll call it, this is the 9th ID Parade Games. And while I was there, we would have these fucking, retirement ceremonies for colonels and generals. It seemed like they're always fucking retiring. And, they would want to have these huge fucking, events where companies and sometimes battalion or even multiple battalions would stand in fucking formation while everyone fucking takes their turn fucking slobbing the knob and kissing the ass. So you're literally, at parade rest or at attention for, I don't know, sometimes well over an hour. Now, this particular one sticks out in my mind because it is the most stupidest fucking thing that I said the most. It is one of the most stupidest things I've yet to see in the military, and this happened back in the 80s, so it's a record. There's 2 battalions, and we're out on the parade field, and we do the right face, and we're all lined up there, four rows deep, each company, platoon, whatever. And they give us the order to fix bayonets. I'm like, okay. And this is before they totally switched over to the M9 worthless piece of shit butterfly knife that the fucking military thinks is a valid fucking excuse for a bayonet because it's fucking stupid. They still have the old ones, like the longer, slender ones. I don't know what they're called now, but, we did what we're told, fucking fix bayonets. Then, we're at salute, present arms. And then they put us to right shoulder arms. Now, I'm 2 ranks deep, in the middle of the squad. I'm nobody. I'm just private first class. I'm standing there, my fucking right shoulder arms, and I'm looking with my peripheral vision, left and right. Now, this is Washington. The sun was out, which was fairly rare, and it was not even that hot out, maybe 70-ish degrees. And when we'd marched into position, I was wondering why there was like 4 or 5 vans parked to the other side of the parade field. I didn't really understand. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together. But apparently, they had told the chain of commands that they're going to have people standing, at pretty much right shoulder arms, which is basically in a position of attention, with a weapon with a fucking bayonet on it for almost an hour, which up until that point we're unaccustomed to. Because in the winter, it doesn't really get super cold there. It's wet and cold. It gets like 40. But a 70, 75 degree day is a fucking hot day, and you're not used to it. It fucks you up. So I'm like, holy fuck, here we go. And you always got that guy, always the dumb dude who locks his fucking knees or whatever. Because people pass out legitimately fucking pass out for real when they do that. I've seen it, and they're not kidding. Yeah, I've seen guys. I mean, you couldn't make a guy pass out any harder if you punched him in the fucking jaw. They just. So, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, and then my buddy's standing next to me, Mark, and I'm like, hey, somebody's gonna die. Sure as shit. The first guy goes down about 20 minutes into it, you hear him, they run up and they put their hand over his mouth, take him to the back, give him some water. If he's good to go, they stand him back up. But this one dude, he was not in my company. He was the next company over. And I could see him out of the corner of my eye. And he didn't just fall down upon himself. He went stiff and then just went backwards, right? And his bayonet went in the guy's leg right behind him, about 3 inches fucking deep. And the guy couldn't even scream. He's like, ah! They slapped they drag him off. They're putting a tourniquet on his ass. They run him out to the van, and I'm like going, holy shit! They knew that was gonna happen. Apparently they did, and nobody else got fucked up that bad in that particular parade. But I think we had maybe half a dozen guys fall out, and that one guy had to get some stitches, and there probably was some explaining to do. But what are you gonna do when you want to play stupid games? You're gonna win some stupid fucking prizes. What can I say? All right, and this is actually quite embarrassing, but it's true. We were doing a battalion PT event, right? And, we're expecting the same old bullshit, side straddle hop, stretch out, blah, 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 push-ups, sit-ups, assemble the right, do a battalion run. No. No. We stretched out, and then they brought in this female aerobics instructor. And she had the 2 megaphones. And, I did okay. I hung with her for about 25 fucking minutes. But, when you're not accustomed to this fucking shit, unaccustomed shit happens. I don't know, 2 guys had semi-heart attacks. I had there was a couple guys ruptured fucking Achilles tendons. Dislocated. How do you dislocate a shoulder doing aerobics? I have no fucking idea. But this is Legland, and a lot of guys back in the day in Legland, they were held together with Scotch tape and kite string and maybe some dental floss and a wire here or there. But wow, that bitch kicked our ass. By the end, we're just cursing her name. That fuck that bitch. It just smoked us into the ground. It was fucking hilarious. All right, now one of the good things that the 9th Infantry Division had to offer was they ran it was like a garage. You know, if you were in the service, you had an ID card, you took your car in there, you turned in your ID card, and they would give you up to 10 tools. You know, they give you a ring of ID tags, and you can have up to 10 tools out at once. So when I'd gotten a car, which was a Camaro, you know, and whatever money I did have, I usually spent it on my car, and I spent a lot of time in that garage working on the hot rod car, which basically kept me from making bad fucking life decisions and getting into fucking more trouble than I already almost did. So I thought that was pretty squared away. And they offered classes on how to like do rebuilds on transmissions, pull your heads, and you know, work on your own valve jobs. I mean, there was anything you wanted to do there, you could do it. You know, except, you know, machine the heads yourself. You usually had to take those off, strip them down, send them out to get machined, and then to put them back on yourself. But other than that, you can do everything there. And I really hope that a lot of the active duty posts still offer that, because that was, you know, that probably saved a lot of guys' careers and lives. Because I know a couple guys were going through some bitter fucking divorces, and instead of going home or going back to the barracks and fucking wallowing in misery, they would fucking pull into the garage and spend all day Saturday, all day Sunday, Friday night, and make 2 or 3 hours a night during the week working on their fucking cars or whatever projects they were doing. And helped them through a lot of fucking, you know, shit, because, you know, when you're doing stuff with your hands, you're not really doing a lot of this up here, and you're working through stuff. And that's usually, I'm not a psychologist, but that is pretty much one of the healthiest ways a man can deal with emotional pain and turmoil, is to get busy with his hands, you know, so he doesn't wind up doing other stupid bullshit. Anyway, I'm trying to finish up the 9th ID, because I'm going to go into the 2nd Ranger Battalion, and then some Ranger School stories. I have a lot of Ranger School stories, man. Those fucking are hilarious. Because nothing is funner than pain, especially when it's on other people, and it involves self-inflicted pain such as starvation and lack of sleep. Absolutely hilarious. A recipe for disaster, and I'm sure you guys will love it. You guys have a good evening.